Evening. Alive. Do we have any Americans in the audience by any chance? No? You sometimes get the odd American in London sort of looking round Europe while it's still there, you know. Actually, we wanted to have a cruise missile at the back here as a kind of topical backdrop, you know, a concrete reminder of the cultural contributions that the United States make to European life. So before we recorded the show this evening, I went round to the American Embassy and the guy there on the desk was very helpful. He said, "You want me to give you a cruise missile? You must be goddamn crazy! Here you are!" Which was very kind of him. Unfortunately, I couldn't pay the asking price. So I gave him instead the rights to my next film script, which is going to be an absolute multi-million blockbuster. It's called Star Wars 4, E.T. meets Emmanuel while Dustin Hoffman dresses up as Gandhi's sister. Seemed very pleased with that. Off I wandered with the cruise missile under my arm, walking down the street, people making me cups of tea, saying, "Oh great, when does it start? Fantastic!" And I went into a burger place on the way down here, but I had to obviously leave the cruise missile outside, because if I'd have taken it in, it would have been competing with the hamburgers as to which was the biggest health risk. And when I came out, it was gone. There was just 18 empty factories there, a couple of empty hospitals, and a note saying, "It's a fair swap, yours Mackie." So, no cruise missile, got to make do with the psychedelic bog rolls instead. No. I'm moving on now with an impression. I'd like to start off my impression of Princess Diana. You may have heard of her.
Well, children mostly.
Thank you. Thank you. Now it's time for a little bit of culture. This is my one-man version of the famous play by the famous player Oscar Wilde, Lady Windermere's Fan. One-man version of Lady Windermere's Fan. Excuse me while I get into characters. Lady Windermere's Fan, one-man version. Lady Windermere! It's like a pun, you know, on the word Windermere. Anyway, well, we've had a laugh, you know, but actually, that's not the real reason I've come down here tonight. I usually do jokes, but I've got something very important to explain to you. Well, it just seemed like a good time to do it, get a bit of exposure, you know. And I don't really know where to begin, but like, well, let me ask you this question. Have you ever wondered what happens to plumbers? It's always the same, isn't it? Because you take a day off work to wait for a plumber. Exactly. He never turns up. Then, when you ring the office, the guy says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what's happened. He left this morning." Only I do know what's happened, because I've read this book that tells you all about it. There's these highly intelligent beings living in the next galaxy, yeah? Only their brains are so enormous. They can't get their heads under the sink. So whenever they need a plumbing job doing, they beam one of ours up the moment it gets in the van. Which is why they're always a day late. Right. Of course, the plumbers keep it hushed up, don't they? About these intergalactic call-outs. Else the big panic. Plus the fact they're able to work fantastic fiddles on travel expenses. But it doesn't stop there. Take my mate, for instance. The one who wrote the book. Plumbers of the Gods, yeah? He can't get it published anywhere. Which goes to show that the plumbers are paying off all the publishers in the country to suppress the truth. goes even deeper than that. Because one day, my mate discovered that he didn't exist. It was me. And then, things started getting really heavy. Because I happened to mention me plumbing theory, casual like, yeah? Exactly, casual, to me girlfriend. And the very next day, she got kidnapped. Well, she didn't actually say she'd been kidnapped. What she did was left a note saying that I was a loony. And I ought to be able to unblock the sink myself without making stupid excuses about why the plumbers hadn't been around yet. Put it this way, if your girlfriend walks out on you and leaves a note like that, what else are you supposed to think, huh? Of course she's been kidnapped. The CIA are very clever. And when they kidnapped her, they took all her personal belongings, including, and you know what I'm going to say next, don't you? Her underarm deodorizers. Right. Well, that's where it all begins to tie up, doesn't it? The deodorant manufacturers are in on it too. They're being paid by the aliens to make little holes in the ozone layer, so that it's easier to get the plumbers out of the atmosphere. And these deodorants will have destroyed the entire ozone layer by next summer, which is where the Olympic Games come in. The aliens have paid Ronald Reagan and the Americans to stage the Olympics to keep all the stuff about the ozone layer out of the newspapers. Stands to reason, doesn't it? Only I wanted to get to the bottom of all this, okay? Find out where it's all controlled from. And I think I've managed to find out. Just by chance. The other night, I wanted to go to this all-night party I'd heard about in Hendon. Yeah. Exactly. And I live in Tooting Bec, yeah? Which is miles from Hendon. So I hail a cab. He says,
Sorry, mate, I'm not going to Hendon at 2 o'clock in the morning.
So I thought, what does he know that I don't? What goes on in Hendon at 2 o'clock in the morning? Because you try getting a taxi there. You can't. The answer's simple. Simple. Hendon is where the plumbers land after they've done a job for the aliens. Right? So what am I trying to tell you? If you need a plumbing job doing, ask them to come on the Tuesday, but take the Wednesday off work. And if you need any more convincing, just say to the plumber when he arrives, casual like, say to him, how was Hendon last night then, eh? And just watch
the expression on his face.